Hi there and welcome to my channel. I'm Staffelchef and today I would like to start a small series within one of my favorite games called Space Engineers. My overall intent is to give you some ideas for your first steps and how to survive and progress. We have several options where to start, Earth-like planets or the Mars, the Moon and so on. And the big difference is the amount of oxygen available as well as the gravity. I have chosen as a starting location the Moon in order to deal, in addition, with the lack of oxygen. One of the very first things I do here is to get an overview of my onboard equipment that is possibly draining energy. Therefore, I'm combining wheels and gyroscope into groups so that I can place them later easily into my cockpit HUD to switch them on and off. Also, I group antenna, beacon and the ore sensor in one group as well. I will not need them now due to the fact that the ore sensor on this small grid is very short with 50 meters range, and the antenna and beacon only helps me to find back to my location. But this I don't need now. So the next step is now to get an overview of my environment. For me, the priority number one is to find some ice in the close proximity. So in order to gain the option to generate more hydrogen and more oxygen. This is very important here on the Moon. And there at the horizon you can already see some. Whenever I find something, I'm creating a GPS coordinate. Also, in order to save some energy, I don't just fly straight. I accelerate into the sky, which is creating a long ballistic bow due to the low gravity. You can see the gravity on the right side, 0.25 G compared to 1 G on an Earth-like planet. And there we have our first ice. I will not take one load with me due to limited storage space, but as already mentioned, I will create a GPS coordinate. From my location, we'll give it a name. And jump back to our starting location. And with roughly only 4 clicks, it is not very far. So even if our current amount of ice is drained or completely used, then we still have enough time to jump to the ice field and grab some new. The next step for me is to find some spots of ore to check out where I want to establish my first base. Therefore, you can look for some markings on the ground. Here on the Moon, they have like a yellow shining, like this one over here. And if you have your drill chosen, you can see what we have over here. And we are very lucky, we have platinum and nickel. Sometimes you have to look for hours to find platinum, but this time, lucky us. I will keep them in mind for later, but I don't want them to be depicted all the time on my HUD. Otherwise it gets a lot crowdy. The most important thing I'm looking for at the moment is iron. Here we have silicon, magnesium and nickel again. Still no iron. And just to show you that this drill has an implemented ore detector, I will switch to the welder and the grinder. Only if the drill is activated, the ores are depicted on the screen. So, let's move on, looking for iron. Why is iron so important? At the very beginning we are only able to make use of the stone by our survival kit. Iron will be of the very first ores we then can make use of. Silicon, iron, magnesium over here. Yeah, make use of to a large extent. And usually cobalt is also in the vicinity of iron, which would be very nice, because with cobalt we can already start to create better equipment: drill, welder and grinder. Nickel, iron, cobalt. So, lucky us. Let's make a new grid. And let's grab the car. Now I'm going to put our created groups of onboard equipment into our lower bar, and there we can easily switch it on and off. So for example, at the moment the first slot on number 1 is our driving group with the wheels and the gyroscope. The second one is the ore detector, the antenna and the beacon. The wheels are on not so fast and not so high acceleration by default, which is already quite good. I don't recommend to increase this here on the moon. Just imagine you have some bump and the low gravity shoots you out of the sky. Can easily happen that you fly way too far. Also 300 meters is not that far, and we're almost there. Since I'm here on the multiplayer server, my intent is also to hide a little bit. Therefore, I will have a look how the sun is moving and will create an entrance into the rocks in the shade or in the shadow of the sun. Parking brake active. Now I'm observing the sun if she's going up or down. The easiest way is to just get a glimpse of the sun and then see if she's going down or up. So there she's going down. And then we can already get an idea how she will move over the day. Roughly like this. Which means for me, we should enter here into the rocks. Another option could be this crater. It has one big disadvantage. We cannot move our initial car into it. I tried this already a couple of times, but even with the gyroscope, it's very hard to not flip it over. And we need our car at the very beginning to easily move between the location where we dig into and our survival kit, which is producing iron, silicon and so on out of the stone that we are digging out of the stone. So this is way too steep, no chance. Would be nice, but what a pity, no chance. I'm even not able to walk up that easy. So, this location here, it shall be. And why do I try to hide on a multiplayer server? Even though I have chosen quite not so populated one, I'm always a bit, let's say, afraid of griefers. Because when I go offline, this persistent world is going on, and others might find my stuff and grind it down, and all my progress is gone. So yes, we could protect ourselves with weapons, but at the very beginning, at the first couple of hours, I don't have access to that many weapons. So now I'm parking the car in the perfect position, so that the distance between the position where I will dig into the mountain and my back end of the car, where the entrance to the survival kit is very short. I will increase the range of the antenna just in case, in the meantime, that I will jump to some other location. Here I'm grinding down some unnecessary stuff just to create my very first stone or block where I want to create my base. Whenever you messed up the positioning of the stone, of the block, you can rearrange it by pressing Bravo. And this shall be the first block of our fundament for our base. Let's give it a proper special look. I choose here concrete armor. The overview you can activate by pressing Papa. And when you have a block in your hand, you then can use the middle mouse button to color the already existing block. I think this is a good moment to make the cut for this episode. If you have any remarks, please feel free to use the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.